أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من شر الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد، والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الميامين المنتجبين، واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله: إن الحسين مصباح الهداية وسفينة النجاة. آمنا بالله. صدق النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد وآله. عظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Inshallah, we are going to continue our session on the critics on the events of Karbala, events of Ashura. And as I mentioned before, that Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam is the light of God and the lantern that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made for us to guide us to the path of Islam, to his path, to path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That lantern which never ever the light of it is distinguishes. Why? Because it is the light from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Light or guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Islam is eternal. That means it is until the day of judgment. We have to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to uh, be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala 24/7. We have to give things, precious things, when needed for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is all what Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam practically taught us. And yesterday I mentioned that there are people that are trying to demean or belittle or bring the value of the tragedy of Karbala down. And that is just the acts of shaitan. Even if people, they do it, even the Maulanas or those people who are wearing amams, big amamas, or black amamas, or white amamas, or topis, or whatsoever, it doesn't matter. Shaitan can come in so many disguises. See, shaitan can come in so many forms, you see. I mean, when I say shaitan, there are two types of shaitan: humanic shaitan and demonic shaitan. So we are not talking about demonic shaitan nowadays, those who sit from the mimbar of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, or those who wear the amama of school of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, and they try to belittle, bring the dhikr of Imam Hussein down, azza of Imam Hussein down. Those people are Satans. If they do unintentionally, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide them. If they do intentionally, then they are Satans in the form of human. And I repeatedly say, and that people, they say, why do you say that? I mean, because what do they want? I mean, people are doing things to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you do something to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you unintentionally you made an error, will Allah dump you in the hellfire? No. Khalas, I mean, if there are people that are saying from the member things, okay, and they don't know that these kind of things are not in the original sources. Like many of these dhakirins, they're innocent. Dhakirin and dhakirat. Yeah, sometimes you see they say fairy tales, kind of thing from the new books, very strange things, very strange stuff. How you cannot support the ideology with the Quran, nor with the authentic hadith, nor with our aqidah. But when this person sits on the pulpit of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, member of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and he's trying to make people cry, the question we need to ask this person: do you know that what you recited was not authentic? So if he says yes, obviously uh, he exposed himself. If he says no, then we can't judge him that he is intentionally doing it from the mimbar. Okay, so that's number one. Alhamdulillah, most of the dhakirin and most of the dhakirat, they are not doing these kind of saying these kind of weird stuff from the mimbar intentionally. Allah will not punish them. Those people are sitting in the audience. If they realize this is not something right, alas, they will not be able to cry, or they will have some sparks, fuses going on in their brains. And but if they are not aware and they're crying because of they feel that this sadness or this things which the Zakir or Zakira or even the Maulana has said it is affecting when he's crying. So he doesn't know that it is wrong. All what he gives is benefit of doubt, and he cries. So will Allah reward him or not? Obviously, Allah will reward him. Like, for example, you go somewhere and eat haram food. You don't know. Oh, this is Muslim country. I'm going to go there and it's halal. Everything in Muslim country should be halal or should be considered at halal, every meat. You eat that meat. And I was with you. I know that that meat is not halal. I can't disturb your food at that time. You say and tell you, oh, this is haram meat. Oh no, really? Oh, he spent money, he spent this and that, and then you make his issue life difficult. So it's not decent to tell somebody while that kind of thing, because if he eats knowing or believing that it is halal, and he's following even the rule of the Islamic rule. But I somehow, like the wise guys, that's okay. So I somehow went to their fridge and found out that their meat is not halal, the deep freezer or whatever. Khalas, keep it to yourself until he eats, until everything is clear, and um, then you can tell him the next time try avoid this place and this and that. Okay, but because he's eating with the intention of halal, so Allah is not going to dump in hellfire. In hellfire. Yes, if he is from those, you should tell me when you see me, I'm doing something wrong. Please tell me, please let me know. Yeah, here you let him know. But most of the people are not like that. Okay, so therefore they are not committing something haram. Somebody prays in najis dress. So major like this is the rule of rufi an ummati ma la ya'lamun. There are certain evidences from the Quran and from the Hadith, the contextual indication and the ijtihad of all these understanding of these riwayat and Hadith and the ayat is, if somebody is ignorant about something, Allah will not hold him accountable. Okay? Ignorance are three types, or the of somebody doing a violation is of three types. It's better to phrase it like that. Number one, ignorant. Okay, so most of the things, haram things in our Islamic legislative system are Allah will not hold a person accountable if he goes and violates and does that haram act. How? Unintentionally, unknowingly, out of ignorance. Um, so that person, Allah will not hold accountable. Okay, these are uh, most of the haram things, and like these things, like you say something and you're not aware that it was wrong. Okay. uh, Many people, they want to do good things, and they try to read reciting Quran. He's reciting Quran, he's reciting is e, and e is u, and shadda is madda, and madda is ad, whatever. So Allah will not dump him in fire. That guy is sincerely reciting Quran, you see, and his Quran has errors. Okay, now, so shouldn't we be correcting him? Yes, but then there are ways, not that time. Do not, especially there are people, they might become sensitive, or their elders, you see, you correct him in public, oh, ah, ooh, and e, ooh. It becomes a bit indecent. Then after that, privately, you tell them, uncle, you tell them this, you tell them brother, sister, whatever. Please try to review your recitation before you recite in public, and this and that. So there, but when the person is doing wrong and doesn't know that he's wrong, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not dump him in hellfire, because as I mentioned, they indicate, their narrations and all these indicated majority of the things which are prohibited, you see, they are رُفِعَ عَنْ أُمَّتِي مَا لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. So these people who are reciting the majalis and the nohas and these kind of things, and sometimes you feel that the content is troublesome, you see, and many times you see, you're sitting and you see the Maulanas are not saying something, and then you get upset. Why the Maulana is not speaking and stopping this guy and this and that? Yeah, because there are methods of Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy Anil Munkar. There are rules, criteria, and that person, if you will convince him, try to convince him, he might yes, or he might not. So as long as he's doing out of ignorance, and there's no it's only something out of ignorance. Okay. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not dump him fire and fire. This is one type of haram thing. Or the other type is where there are two types of ignorance: unintentional ignorance, intentional ignorance. Okay, what is unintentional and intentional? Unintentional ignorance, the guy has not kept himself ignorant deliberately. You see, if he has resources, if he has some doubt, he will go and ask. But he did not, the doubt did not encounter his mind. Or it encountered, remember, it did not encounter. Had it encountered, he would have asked. Or it encountered and he wanted to ask, but he could not find someone to ask. That is considered jahil, the one which does not have any resources, or doubt did not encounter in his mind, and if it encountered, he did not have anybody to ask properly, so this kind of ignorant is excused. So we say excused ignorant, you see, excused. And this is in most of the wajibat, like in salat, some of the actions, you will see the word qasir, muqassir, jahil qasir, jahil muqassir. So these you will see in certain type of rules of salat. You will encounter certain rules of wajibat. You will encounter this. And so on the other side, there is jahil, the one who is deliberately, he kept himself ignorant. What does that mean? He doubted and he had resources. He did not ask. He chose to remain in his doubt. He chose to remain in his ignorance. So here, he will be held accountable. It's like certain acts of wajibat, as I mentioned. But majority of the acts of wajibat, majority of the things, the undeliberate, indeliberate, ignorant comes in. The person like excused one. So we can say excused and inexcused. So that is the other type. And then the third scenario of violation is he knows it's wrong, and he deliberately, intentionally goes against it. Now, So now we know that these dhakirin, may Allah bless them, and dhakirat, their intentions, most of them, their intentions are clean, pure, sincere. They don't know. They go to the references, they go to the books to their best of capacity, and they try to find out that is this authentic Masa'ib or not. And Alhamdulillah, the last decade, I have seen that even dhakirin and dhakirat who studied some Hausa classes, who studied some seminars, this and that, Dhakirin seminar, they became a bit aware about to reduce those kind of strange things from their khitab and from their dhikr and from their, and may Allah reward them for trying their best to learn as much as in this capacity. On the other hand, the Maulanas, some of the Maulanas with big amamas, white and black, they still bring weird stuff in their Masa'ib, which dhakirin they stop bringing, and they are not stopping their thing. Or will they go to Jahannam? Here, the type of the personality sits on member. When somebody wears amama, that person is responsible to filter. So I was reciting before some stuff. I reduced reciting it, or I eliminated it when I found out they were problematic, and I reduced some stuff which I had some doubts in it, whether they were from the new books or the old books and those kind of things. So I'm not a 100% per se historian. Yeah, Allah has blessed me with some of the historical reviews and but still I try to find I try to look for someone who is a historian, and I take the book, and the one of the criterias of your choice, if you are reciting majlis, or one of the choice should be that you try to choose a book where there are footnotes of references. Sorry about that, technical things. Okay. So footnotes. Nowadays, most of the books of the dhikr of Ahl al-Bayt, especially in Arabic, I don't know about Urdu, how many of them they are writing footnotes, because footnotes at least give you the satisfaction that I'm reading a text which is in books, which has been recorded in historical books, be it old, recent, that's too highly academic thing. But at least minimum responsibility is to fulfill this kind of thing, that find books which they have footnotes. Okay, if you have Arabic books and Urdu books, or Arabic books and English books, no problem. Mullah Google zindabad. Okay, Mullah Chat GPT, whatever. They now we have a lot of mullahs in cyberspace. Just put the text there. Whatever comes out, I know it's most of the time not 100% authentic translation, especially religious text. But then you have something here to compare with the Urdu book, which does not have footnotes, or the English book, which does not have footnotes. So, and I strongly, encourage our youth to find these Arabic texts and try to translate them properly, and provide this kind of resources to our beloved Dhakirin and Dhakirat, and also to our beloved Maulanas who are just reciting sometimes the bayan worse than the Dhakirin and Dhakirat. Not all, I'm talking about some of the Maulanas, or maybe many of those. God knows best. But anyhow, so coming back to our point. So therefore, so the ignorant, okay, does this apply here? Qasir and muqassar kind of thing, the excused and inexcused, as long as there is no damage to the community from the type of the masa'ibs recited, okay, then there is no more tough responsibility. But when it comes, when a bayan of dhakir or dhakira or even maulana comes and conflicts the direction of aqidah, faith. That means you're misleading the community in what? In teaching them some beliefs which are against the strong founded beliefs of school of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Such as what? Infallibility. You recite out of emotion thing, it conflicts the infallibility of Imam Ma'soom alayhi salam, Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Number one. Number two, conflict with the religious laws which are proven by majority of the Maraja. So the scholars, they teach Islamic law, and this Dhakir or Dhakira or this Maulana who's Dhakir but wearing amama, he comes and destroys that direction, scholarly direction of Islamic law. And for example, cry, Hussein will forgive all your sins. And now what we have? We have generation of drugs. They come on the day of Ashura, Hussein, 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 Hussein. And why? Because Hussein will take care of us on the day of judgment. No salah, no fasting, nothing. It's in front of my eyes. I'm seeing in various places. Why? Because some wise guy Maulanas wearing amamas also, or dhakirin and not scholars, I don't consider them. They're destroying the efforts of scholars and maraja to let the people offer their salah. Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam repeatedly said, Mutawatir ahadith, Shi'atna man ata' Allah. Our Shia is who obeys Allah. Quran says in Surah Muddathir, there were people found in hellfire. They were asked, why, what made you end up there? One of the things was, Lam naku minal musallin. We were not offering salah. And then at the conclusion, says, فَمَا تَنْفَعُهُمْ شَفَاعَةُ الشَّافِعِينَ. The intercession of the interceders will not benefit them. And here Maulana say, Ali, Ali, and you'll go to Jannah. Say Hussein, Hussein, shed tears, this and that. No, Hussein alayhi salam is balanced between tears and practice. The aim of Imam Hussein alayhi salam was to keep the salat living until the day of judgment. Keep the Islam living. Innama kharajtu lil islahi fi ummati jaddi. My target is only to reform. There is a Yazidi Islam, no salat. So are you making them shed tears to let them learn Yazidi Islam? Then you are against Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Even you say Hussein, Hussein, Hussein. And even you appraise these poor youngsters on that kind of wrong path, you're appraising them, directing them on a Yazidi path or path of Christianity. Jesus has taken your sins away. Khalas, you have a free license to paradise, free entrance. Believe in the crucifixion. Not all the Christian, but many of those whom we see on these social media sometimes, and even in these churches, just believe in the crucifixion and resurrection and this and that, and the Holy God, Son and God. Anyhow, so we respect our fellow Christian and we respect all these our youngsters. But this is wrong for Shia, Ithna Ashari Muslim. This is wrong to say, Ali, Ali, go to Jannah without salat, without fasting, without anything. It's against the direction of Ahlul Bayt. You see now what I'm saying? That if this Masa'ib and these kind of things, they have this kind of mirchi masala type of thing, which pleases the crowd, which gives them free entrance to paradise without any amal, without any actions, without any deed, doing zina, na'udhu billah, doing liwat, doing drug, lying, cheating, doing every kind of sins. Just when the 10 days of Ashura, not 10 days, even last few days, and you will see them, they come, they wait outside until the Maulana is done. They don't want any Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar. The package of Imam Hussein, they just want the last part which will make them go to the paradise free of charge. And that is where when I say the member should be a reforming member plus grieving member. Both grieve and reformation come together. If the member becomes without grief, we are not melting the hearts. If the member becomes without reforming, on the contrary, destroying member, that is not the purpose of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So number one was, do not go against the aqidah. Strengthen your aqidah. Filter your masa'ib. Check whether it is against the aqidah or not. Number one. Number two, the obligations and prohibitions. Do not go against them. Majority of the maraja, they have made these kind of directions. Fiqh, our Islamic legislative system. Efforts have been kept to bring this system. Don't destroy it by saying Ali and cry tears and bring stories of dreams and this and that and go to Jannat. That is not right. Totally wrong. Bluntly, I'm saying it. Okay. Number three, don't recite things in the Masa'ib which has like things go against our moral system. Morally, it's wrong. Like one was saying, oh, what is the use of chadar? The head cover. Bibi Zainab's chadar is taken. We are wearing chadar. Like Imam Hussein's, this happened. We are doing this. So, okay, no chadar. That means no scarf. No, this against our moral system, against our Islamic legislative system. Some weird directions like that. Don't be surprised. I've seen some of those. Okay. And then, so moral values. Like Imam Hussein cursing this, cursing that, cursing this, cursing that. Come on. Innaka la'ala khuluqin azim. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, or Imam Sadiq, is Imam Sadiq alayhi salam better than Imam Hussein alayhi salam? And Imam Hussein is the largest arc of success, largest arc to get people into the Jannah. When Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he never badmouth, he never backbite, he never insulted, he never disrespected, he never this, he never this, he never this, he never this. And you see some of the member thing they, but it is text, yes, but that's what where the problem is. Do you want a cursing Imam Hussein alayhi salam with bad mouth or something like that? And sometimes they don't translate properly. Or do you want Imam Hussein a role model? You will find a lot of stuff in the book of Masa'ib. Or even if the text, historical text, you will find some text infiltrated. And try to refrain from things which makes Imam Hussein alayhi salam a very weak and feeble person, weaker than his companions. So when we see Hur alayhi salam, he gave sacrifice to his sons and bravery gave, and he did not cry. Zainab alayhi salam gives on and Muhammad, the Majalis, Masa'ib, they did not cry. She did not cry. She's strong, brave. Imam Hussein cried, yes, according to the narrators, because there were so many things happening the whole day for Imam Hussein. So Imam Hussein has emotions. But if Hur and other companions, they make their children go bravely, fight, I want to see you martyred in front of me. And when they come to the issue of Ali Akbar, alayhi salam, for example, and Imam Hussein is going to the, Ali Akbar is going to the battlefield, Imam Hussein is chasing Ali Akbar. And, nah, Baba, where is this? Where do you bring this? Those are brave. Qasim's mother, Aoun Muhammad, all these, they have their, and they are weaker than Imam Hussein when it comes to emotions. And you make Ali Akbar, Imam falls down and stand up, and the horse of Ali Akbar is going far, and Imam Hussein is like, and then Ali Akbar says, Baba, what are you doing? You're making it difficult on me. And people are crying. The people, we said, Allah will not. But the one who is saying this from the mimbar, don't you know that you're bringing Imam Hussein so down to let the people cry? It is sufficient that Imam Hussein, with bravery, let Ali al-Akbar go. It's an honor for Imam Hussein, like Zainab alayhi salam, like Qasim's mother alayhi salam. All these they are giving up. And when Imam Hussein chases the horse of Ali al-Akbar until Ali al-Akbar says, Baba, you're making it difficult for me. Let me go. Let me. What is this? And there's no historical text indicating such. Even if there is, as I mentioned, it shows a weak Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Yeah, after on the body of Ali al-Akbar, the historian, they say he cried. On the body of Abbas alayhi salam and the body of Qasim, there are three places where the historians, they say we saw Hussein cry and cry loudly. Because the Imam Hussein, look at Imam Hussein, he's from the beginning watching martyrs after martyrs after martyrs after martyrs after martyrs, his beloved ones, Habib, Zuhair, Burair. And the time comes for Bani Hashim. And the most precious, beloved son, who's resembling the Prophet ﷺ, goes to the battlefield. Obviously, Imam Hussein ﷺ is holding, like who's more, Ibrahim ﷺ or Imam Hussein? Ibrahim says, Ya Allah, you want my son? Inna salati wa nusuki wa mahyaya, I'll give you my life, I'll give you. Yeah, but Imam Hussein saw, Ibrahim ﷺ did not see what Imam Hussein saw. Yes, but when it comes to the sacrifice, you see, Imam Hussein is the bravest person, even more brave than Abu al-Fadl Abbas. He's the lion, son of lion of God. How can we make him so feeble? He's chasing Ali Akbar to the battlefield. I'm surprised. And still some of the big amamas, they mention these kind of. Or we want to make it like totally miraculous without any evidence. Hussein is, and you will hear on the day of Ashura, quite, I'm not blaming Dhakirin. The Maulanas, they say Hussein is fighting in the battlefield, fighting in the battlefield, fighting in the battlefield, fighting. And his body is filled with arrows and this and that. So Hussein, the blood has gone drained out. And he was not fighting miraculously. All the narrations, text mention that he was fighting with all his bravery, maximum bravery, like Imam Ali alayhi salam. But still, there are limits. His emotions have limits. His physical nature has limits. If he does not use kun fayakun and universal authority, there are limits. And then Hussein, and then call comes from the sky. Hussein, give up. Throw your sword. Khalas, it's time. Imam Hussein throws his sword. Ya yatul nafsul mutmainna. There's no way where in a historical text this kind of thing is there. Where do you find this? In the books made by Dhakirin. And surprisingly, big Maulanas are retelling. Okay, Dhakirin, we don't blame them. But the big Maulanas, where did you bring these kind of things? Our youngsters now, they're reading their books being translated in English. You're going to backfire. This youth coming, they say, oh, we are told these kind of things. So it is very important for us to understand Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. Then filter the MASAAEB based on the personality of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. Yes, he's weak to a limit. Emotions are there. He would cry, but yet he's brave. He would not go and chase Ali al-Akbar until the halfway to the battlefield or make it difficult on Ali Akbar. So anyhow, the purity of MASAAEB are sufficient to let people cry on Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Maraja, they just hear Hussein and they cry. They don't want you to recite 1 hour and mixture of a lot of things which are not proven and against them. So many times the scholars, they sit and they listen to the Dhakirin. In front of me, my teachers, they would invite the Dhakir and let them sit, and they would tell him politely, please don't recite this portion next time, because it is It is against the personality of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Sometimes they'll say this is against our aqidah of school of Ahlul Bayt. Sometimes isma of Imam, infallibility of Imam, all these kind of things needs to be taken into consideration. So if you cannot find a proper resource of Masa'ib, fine. If you cannot find, then whatever Masa'ib you have, you hear from big amamas, filter it down. Okay? Filter. Don't take the Masa'ib from Dhakirin. Take it from the books. Try to find books which has footnotes. This is an easy way I'm giving you, that you don't need to be a scholar to recite Masa'ib of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. In the time of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu salam, the Dhakirin, they would come and recite poetries of Masa'ib of Imam Hussein. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam will cry. Obviously, poetry is not the exact verbatim of the text of the event. Poetry is deforming the Masa'ib in an artistic way, which has more impact on the heart in the poetic style. So change or not change? Yes, change. And who was there? Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam, Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, Imam al-Rida alayhi salam, the incident of Du'bal. Okay? So they have to change the Masa'ib in a way to fit the poetic style. So there is a change. But it is not going against the event. It is not going against the aqidah. So it is permissible. How can we know? Imam Sadiq alayhi salam is listening and crying and not saying, because Imam, if he sees something wrong, he will tell the poet, don't read like that. Don't read this portion. Don't read this. Don't read that portion. Imam is not just listening, crying. And not just that, sometimes Imam says, give me more. That is evidence that you can change the form of the Masa'ib in a dramatic or a poetic style, and or a story style, you see, and which has more impact in the heart, as long as it does not go against what happened in Karbala. Not adding more to the mirchi masala stuff, like something did not happen, you add in your drama or in your poetry. You can add whatever links as long as is in the line. For example, when the caravan of Imam Hussein comes, okay, to Karbala, and this is one narration. Another narration, Zainab alayhi salatu wasalam is crying on the grave of Imam Hussein. Now, how did she came off the camel and went to the grave? For example, I'm giving you example. What are the permissible additions to make a complete scenario, which is not an addition, which is intellectually there? Text does not indicate, for example, but intellectually, you're not adding something different from the scenario to make a complete story, or a poetic style, or a literature to create an impact on the hearts of the people. So some scholars will say, like when they will present a poetic way, okay, that she falls down from her camel. She's anxious. She wants to just go on the grave of Imam Hussein alayhi salam and mention what happened to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So this segment which is missing is added. She fell herself from the camel and she's walking and falling down, walking and falling down. That's not there in the text. But can that happen? Yes, that can happen. And that's not an addition. And that creates a kind of drama, okay? And you will see that in Masa'ib. That is normal. Don't say, oh, Maulana, this is not written. Because that is the art of the Masa'ib, art of making the facts, connecting them together to make a story. Another scholar might come and say the camels went down and she's walking like this, and and until she comes on the grave and sits down. That is another side of the story. Camel sat down, she's anxious, she's going slowly, slowly, step by step, and she sits on the grave. Third one might say the camel went down. She dropped herself, for example. They want to show the status of grief. Okay, what kind of grief status was for Zainab alayhi salam in order to reach that grave? The fourth might come and say she went slowly, slowly, but as she saw the grave, she burst in cry and said, Wa Husayna, and dropped herself on the grave. So, you see where you can add, where there are two scenarios, you make a scenario in line. That is what happens in making stories. Okay, you have facts, you connect those facts together with whatever comes in line of it, and it is acceptable by the intellectual society. The Islamic law is not violated, the aqidah is not violated, the personality of Zainab alayhi salatu wasalam is not violated. All these things which I mentioned, it's in line if you make a scenario. And that is something, if you don't want, that's fine. The more you keep it pure, the more better. But then there are communities, they want a story type of scenario where these facts are connected with each other. Otherwise, you'll be telling something and then people will pause, they will not, they're crying. And this is, so when Imam Sadiq alayhi salam approves, and all the A'immas alayhi salam, they approve, the poets, they deforming the event same into their words in a poetic style, in a poetic way, so the change happened. But the change was in the line of tragedy, in the line of grief, in the line of not distorting the facts, and presenting something new which never happened. So this is something which is very important for us to understand how to deal with the Masa'ib. Do not stop reciting Masa'ib. Do not stop listening to the Masa'ib. Cry on Imam Hussein as much as you can cry, and improve your behavior, your actions for the sake of Imam Hussein, because cry and learn. Al-ibra, al-Hussein, abara wa ibra. Hussein is grief and Hussein is lesson. Salamullahi alayh. So therefore, this is one point. I don't know whether we have time for another point to discuss. So there's one point, that what are the limits? So when it comes to damage, your Masa'ib might cause damage in the community, damage in the ideology of imamat, ismat, infallibility, all this kind of thing, might cause damage in the narrations of Karbala, might cause damage in the trust of the youth in the events of Karbala. Then one should be very careful when filtering the Masa'ib. It depends from community to community. Some community, you see, people are not interested, just they want to cry. Some community, you see, the youth are listening very carefully. They want to see, what does our Maulana say or speak? You see, they're very sharp. Depends from country to country. All these kind of things are supposed to be taken into consideration. So this is something which was point one. Another point I wanted to discuss, if we don't have time, we'll continue tomorrow. Bidnillahi ta'ala. That text, first of all, we have this in the Hausa, the method of science of narrators, where we take the narrator of hadith. Okay, we take the narrator of hadith. We have a hadith, and we have somebody who wrote the hadith in the book, but he heard it from Fulan 1, Fulan 2, Fulan 3, Fulan 4, Fulan 5, Fulan 6. All this, and then he heard from Imam alayhi salam. So all these 6 Fulans, we need to know they are just or trustworthy and Imami, followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Then the hadith is considered sahih. Some of our beloved youth, when they study Ilm al-Rijal and they come from the Hausa studying Ilm al-Rijal, they start using Ilm al-Rijal in everything. Mafatih al-Jinan, 90% useless. History, 90% useless. Moral values, 90% useless. All these ahadith useless, useless. So what will remain from my religion? Because they misunderstood the Ilm al-Rijal. Ilm al-Rijal was established for only for fiqh purpose, Islamic jurisprudence. The work is focused on Islamic jurisprudence. The methodology is limited and restricted to Islamic jurisprudence. If some Maulana or some who claims to be Ayatullah or some who claims to be comes and implements this hadith sahih method, the sanadi method on history, on dua, on moral values, on this, or then he's ignorant. That all these books of Shias and books of Sunnis and books of Muslim, they just throw them away. You're ignorant. You don't know the methodology. The doctor, the pediatric is same as cardiologist, as same as whatever. Okay, but their methodologies are different in diagnosing things. So it's all Islamic education, Islamic knowledge, and the sources Quran and the Hadith and the concepts of intellectual society. However, the methodologies they differ. Okay, the methodologies they differ. We need to understand this. So, for example, methodology of or engineer, electrical engineer, he's engineer, and civil engineer is engineer. They have two different methodologies. Yes, they are engineers. They are fall into the faculty of engineers. But specialization, why there's specialization? Are they crazy to make specializations? No, because the methodologies, they differ. So here also, Islam is part and parcel of the intellectual society. When you see the law and the school of law, they're tough in the intellectual society. They have to spend 5-6 years, like the doctors, learning school of law. So when you study law, legislative system, legislation, you need more time because the methodology is different. There's too much scrutiny there. But when you come and study history, in 3 years, you get a bachelor degree and you are a historian. They teach you the methodology of history. So methodology of law is different than the methodology of history. In methodology of history, and methodology of history is different than methodology of dua. Methodology of dua is different than methodology of hadith related to the moral values, stories. So here, there is one qasim mushtarak, common point or common denomination. What is that denominator? Common thing. All these sciences should be founded and grounded on the ideology of Ahlul Bayt. Should not contradict the ideology of Ahlul Bayt. From oneness of God to the prophethood and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to the imamat and to the infallibility of the imams and the prophets, and to the universal authority, wilayat takwiniyah, and to the appointment of God. These 4 things you don't believe, you're not from school of Ahlul Bayt, you're not Shia Ithna Ashari. Maybe some other Shias might compromise, but our Maraja, since the time of Sheikh al-Mufid, since to the time of Sayyid al-Khuwaisi al-Khubaini, Sayyid al-Sistani, all of them, they have confirmed with deep researches these 4 things. The Imam must be chosen. The Imam must be infallible. The Imam has knowledge more than the knowledge of people, knowledge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and different methods of knowledge. The Imams have the universal authority. They can perform miracles. These are founded on the logical arguments and the mutawatir, abundant ahadith and the ayat of the Quran. There's no compromise in these four things. Chosen by God, having knowledge, divine knowledge by God, obviously, through the channels God made for him, has universal authority, and then infallibility. So, chosen by God, knowledge, universal authority, infallibility. Four must. And from the Imam, there are 12 Imams. So that's why we are 12. And the 12 is living and born. So make it 5. Because nowadays some people, they're creating doubts in the existence of Imam Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala for redemption. So all these areas of knowledge, regardless of different methodologies, they should not go against these 5 things. You go against one of these 5 things, you are not follower of Ithna Ashar, 12 or Shia. You may be something else, some other, Zaidi, this, that, Ismaili, whatever. You want to be a 12er? This is what are the tenets of 12er Imams. This is besides the oneness of God. God is metaphysical, and God is everywhere, and the nubuwwat and all those kind of package. But this is because they differ from us. So these 5 things are important. So any method or any area of science, like in engineering, mathematics is important. Any methodology of engineer changes, but the mathematics is there. So that's why we have to understand. So in history, I studied also history in Western universities. And in history, it's collecting of data, regardless of who narrated it. Was he there? He heard from proper sources. He has data. Another historian has a data. We collect the data. And we collect the data and try to link the data in a way we form a proper historical sequence. And that proper historical sequence, like a story, but not putting anything in between, linking it, is a part of the Masaaib of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, or making stories. When you take a history and you want to teach history to the children, you have to make it in a form of story. There you will add the linkage together, or making film. You see, you will not make film and there will be gaps. Film is an art also. Movie is an art. So in movie, you add things which are in line, and they're not like deforming the history or something like that. So movie, Masaaib, poetry, these are all arts, making stories, where the facts are made into stories in a way for lay people or children, or they can digest the whole thing together. So the collection of the data. However, that there should not be something which is logically strange or weird. So like, for example, one of the history that Shah Abbas Safawi brought some of these extreme elements of enemies of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam. He killed them and he made kebab, and they all ate and celebrated. Come on, what kind of nonsense is this? This is to create sectarianism, you see. And it was there in the Oxford history. You're talking about the Masaaib. At least Masaaib, we have responsibility. Okay, but the collection of the data, that's Western method of history. Just you have data, you want to write history, collect. But what is hard work there? To try to find out, to dig, to find a needle in a haystack. So many resources, books of history, you have to find where is this, where is it. This is exactly what our scholars of Masaaib and historians, they did, those who recorded and wrote history of Karbala throughout these centuries. So the methodology is different. In the methodology, we are going to, inshallah, continue our talk tomorrow, because we still have some of the points left, but our time is done. So what we want to mention here is, when we narrate the Masaaib of Karbala, when we narrate the history there needs to be some kind of responsibility from the member. Alhamdulillah, there are many dhakirin and dhakirat, may Allah bless them. They have taken the responsibility. They send me messages, please, could you direct us with the proper books, authentic books, this books, that book. So, but it's all about filter your masa'ib. Check all these five things, okay? Our aqidah, plus the personality of Imam Hussein alayhi salam and Bibi Zainab salamullah alayha, plus the event of the morality of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, whom we learn from him morality. Imam Sadiq does not curse, and then you see Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he curses and this and that. These kind of things are very important to observe, and that way you know what will happen. The masa'ib are going to be more stronger than ever, and you will have stronger impact on the coming generation. So what we are trying to discuss here, to trying to strengthen and super glue ourselves with Masa'ib of Imam Hussein, not to give up. Don't take me wrong. I'm mentioning this kind of thing to make the event stronger so that it has more stronger impact on our coming generation and Masa'ib continues. Otherwise, if we start mentioning those kind of things from many of the members, the coming generation will leave these kind of things. So we are going to create a negative impact. So we need to make sure that the generation, coming generation, they have something to hold to, and that is strong and firm. And when they spread and talk to other nations about the treasury of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, it is very strong, firm, not contradicting, not conflicting with each other. And one of the texts of Masa'ib of Imam Hussein alayhi salam is Ziyarat al-Nahiya. We mentioned one day, we are going to mention the sanad, discussion on the sanad of Ziyarat al-Nahiya, which is Ziyarat Ashura. In the Ziyarat al-Nahiya, we try to take everyday painful segments. We want to see how our Imam Zamana, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, recites the Masa'ib of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Masa'ib of Karbala, Masa'ib of his grandfather Hussein alayhi salam. So he says, Assalamu ala man tahharahul jaleel. Salams upon the one who was declared pure by glorified Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How? إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Yes, Imam Sahib al-Zaman is not bringing things from him. He's echoing the Quran. He's echoing the fada'il of Ahl al-Bayt alayhim salam. And this pure Imam Hussein alayhi salam, whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declared him pure. The enemies of Islam, they were cursing Imam Hussein. They were insulting Imam Hussein. They were disrespecting Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Until one of them, the evil one, Hussein ibn Namir or Hassin ibn Namir, comes and says in the time of Salah, when Abu Thumama Sa'idi says that, Ya Aba Abdullah, I'm saying the sun on the top of us, isn't it the time for Salat? Imam Hussein alayhi salam says, Dhakkartana bis Salah, Ja'alak Allah min al Musallin. You reminded us of Salat. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep you among those who pray. So was Imam Hussein alayhi salam heedless about Salat? Never ever. But it is a lesson that all the martyrs were reminded it's the Salat time, and Hussein is all about saving the Salat. So Imam Hussein alayhi salam, when the enemies are rushing in the time of Dhuhr towards Imam Hussein alayhi salam sends Habib ibn Mudahir, tell them we need some time for Salah. That this accursed person says, and does Hussein Salah is accepted? Habib became angry. If Hussein's Salat is not accepted, is your Salat accepted? Oh, the one who abuses alcohol. And here they had a fight. And Habib ibn Mudahir says, Ya Aba Abdullah,
I will pray my dhuhr in the paradise. This person is attacking. And Habib ibn Mudahir got martyred. Yes, this was Imam Hussein alayhi salam. If his salah is not accepted, whose salat is accepted? Assalamu ala man iftakhara bihi Jibreel. Peace be upon the one who was a pride for Jibreel. Jibreel is honored to shake the cradle of Imam Hussein, to guard Imam Hussein alayhi salam, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose Jibreel and Mikael to guard Imam Ali alayhi salam when the Prophet left on the migration night. Here they were guarding the cradle of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Assalamu ala man naghahu fil mahdi Mikael. But I wonder that is Jibreel and Mikael, are they guarding the body of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein? Are they guarding the body of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, which is cut into pieces? The enemies are looting the body of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. The horses are trampling. Where are you, Jibreel? Where are you, Mikael? Assalamu ala man hutikat hurmatuhu. Peace be upon the one whose sanctity was violated. How? Sanctity of Imam Hussein is not one sanctity. Sanctity of his companions, they were murdered and martyred. Sanctity of Bani Hashim, his family members. Sanctity of his precious beloved ones. Sanctity of Abul Fadl al-Abbas. Sanctity of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Then after that, the greatest violation of the sanctity of Imam Hussein, the daughters of Imam Ali, the daughters of Rasulullah, no shadow, no one could see shadow, their shadow. But in Sham Ghariba, when the tents were burning, when the tents were looted, their chadars were taken away. They were slapped on their faces. No one could touch the daughters of Rasulullah. But now who's going to defend the daughters of Rasulullah? Violation of the sanctity. Assalamu ala man nukithat dhimmatuhu. Salams upon those, the one whose covenant was broken, those people who promised Imam Hussein, invited Imam Hussein. Many of those they went against the covenant and came to kill Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Assalamu ala man uriqa bil damuhu. Yes, his blood was spilled. Peace be upon the one whose blood was spilled. But how was the blood spilled? From every part of the body. There was arrows and spears. They were plunged in the body of Abu Abdullah, and the blood was spilling. But how was it done? Fairly or justly? No, it was unjustly. What was the sin of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein? السلام على المجرع بكاسات الرماح. Salams upon you. Now, this is a beautiful phrase of Imam Zamana, and it's a painful. When someone's thirsty, you give him a cas, you give him a cup, and that cup is filled of what? With water. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, yes, he was thirsty. What was he given to quench? He was given cups of spears. You know where they keep the spears, in a jacket of spears. These are cup shaped. So Imam alayhi salam says, instead of giving them cups of water, they gave him cups of arrows, and they took all the arrows out of those cups and plunged into the body of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Salamu ala al-Mudamil Mustabah. Salams upon the one whose martyrdom, the dhulm upon him was legalized by the fake judges. Salam ala al-mahjuri fil wara. A salam upon the one was abandoned by the people. When everybody was martyred, Imam Hussein called, هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ذاب عن حرم رسول الله. No one is there. No one is responding. Even the baby Ali Asghar has been martyred. Everybody has been martyred. Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam. He stands up. He opens his eyes. He says, "Why is my father calling?" Zainab alayhi salam says, "What do you want?" He says, "Give me a stick and a sword." Why do you want to have a stick and a sword? I want to stick to the stick to depend myself on it and rely on it. And I want the sword to defend my father, Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Why is he calling like that? Imam Hussein alayhi salam saw Imam Zainul Abidin wanting to come out of the tent. Imam Hussein says, Zainab, take him back to the tent. Imam Hussein comes back to the tent. He said, Imam Hussein says, my son, what do you want to do? He said, my father, why were you calling that kind of call? With sadness and grief. Where is my uncle Abbas? Where is my brother Ali Akbar? Where are the companions? Imam Hussein says, all of them, they are martyred. Wa madluma. Assalamu ala man tawalla dafnuhu ahlul qura. Salams upon the one who was buried by people of village. Obviously, when they come, they saw the bodies cut into pieces, scattered on the ground of Karbala. Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam directed them. Bless the heart of Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam. How did he hold the body, which was body of his father, which was trampled under the horse's hooves? ومظلومة ومصيبته وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين والعاقبة للمتقين إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our azaa on Imam Hussein alayhi salam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give the thawab of this azaa of Imam Hussein alayhi salam to all our marhumin, our relatives, our parents, our beloved ones, whether they are living or dead, to bless them with the thawab of azaa and to ease upon them their difficulties and hardships, be it in the difficulties of this world or difficulties of hereafter. Give them all the goods of this world and goods of hereafter. Prevent them from all the evil of this world and evil of hereafter. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us the ziyarat of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Now we could wish us the ziyarat of Arba'in. May Allah make the ziyarat of Arba'in easy upon us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all our sick ones and the sick ones of the mu'min mu'minat. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive all our sins and shortcomings. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us and all our beloved ones around the world. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the appearance of our beloved Imam soon and keep us among his loyal and sincere supporters in his occultation and after his appearance. Ameen Rabbil Alameen. وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين